What's up, everybody? Nate Sarantino here, back with another episode of the Guide Spirits podcast. And today I want to talk about how separation is an illusion and we are all connected. So to start this off, I want to say that the idea that everything is one is key when understanding this concept. So the universe is a whole, and you are a part of that whole. Simply put, you are connected to everything that is a part of this universe. And even further, you are connected to every single other universe that is an alternative timeline. And whatever decision you make every day, like every decision you make creates a new timeline. And all these timelines are connected when you get back, and you can jump from timeline to timeline. That's a story for another time, but everything is connected. Every universe, every parallel universe, every timeline, they're all connected. So whatever it is that you actually want, like, it's obtainable. So never say you can't do something. Second, you have to understand that if you don't lead with good intentions, you will find yourself in terrible positions. So a story of this is, like, one time I went up to Maine with a friend, and things did not go well between us, but he had good intentions the whole time to help me out. And when things went south, he ended up having something bad happen to him. But in the end, it wasn't that bad because he had good intentions from the start. And I literally just realized this now while recording this podcast, because I was thinking, like, damn, like, how did that end up that way? But it's because intentions and the way they led with their intentions. And I had the same instance with this whole, like, crypto thing when things went really south. And then I had all these people who I owed money, and I told them what happened, and they were like, damn, like, I'm really sorry this happened, and, like, I understand. Like, they weren't upset. One of them was, and it was really bad. It wasn't that bad, but it was annoying, to say the least. But everyone else was, they understood. They understood things happen, and that, like, they can't just blame me right away. Like, I blame myself enough already. Like, they don't add on to that burden, and I'm really grateful for that. And it made me understand that, like, it's the choice between focusing on, like, the compassion versus focusing on the regret, or, like, the idea that, like, you have accountability in yourself as well as you should hold the other person accountable. But it's always going to come down to, like, utmost self-accountability. And the only way all relationships will truly thrive is if everyone in the relationship is fully accountable for their own actions. So with that being said, intentions are everything, because if you're not accountable for you intending harm on someone, you're going to end up facing the consequences for that harm. No matter how much you think it doesn't matter, it does matter. Like, if you believe that by telling someone you're going to do something bad, that nothing bad will happen to you, that's not how that works. The universe doesn't understand that. What the universe understands is that you intended bad, and that because you intended bad, you are now going to be faced with the consequences for your actions. And there's no other way around it. And that's just how it goes. Like, your intentions were corrupt from the start. Or not even corrupt. You might not have been corrupted. You might have just had purely, like, dark intentions. And those dark intentions will catch up to you, and you'll end up suffering consequences, whether it be in this life or the next life. Ideally, it always happens in this life. And, like, the idea of how long does it take to live a life, and, like, when do you actually suffer the consequences for your actions? And, like, people who do, like, really wrong, like, you look at, like, the case of, like, Jeffrey Epstein, and, like, how he killed himself in prison. Well, like, you think he's gonna face his consequences? Like, people who believe in heaven and hell will say that, but I think, like, he's going to be reincarnated back on Earth, and then his next life is going to be terrible. Like, he's going to go through the worst things, like, any human can imagine. Like, he might not even get to be a human. That's how bad his life might be. maybe he does get to be a human. Maybe he gets to be one of the humans that are like slaving away somewhere in like a Chinese sweat factory. I don't know. Anything's possible. Like, that's the point. Like, there's all these like different scenarios. Like, anything's possible. This is why reincarnation can be so helpful, because like you might not get away with something, or you might get away with it the first life, even especially if you just kill yourself so you don't have to face the consequences. But maybe in the next life you actually have to face your consequences, and I don't know, you don't know what's going to happen until it happens. And the whole idea of life is it's a dream or a nightmare, and eventually you wake up by dying. You go through the door, you look at your whole life, you sign another soul contract, you come back to the earth, and then you have to go through a whole nother process based on the life that you lived before. And it's all about like planning and growing as a soul. And this is why like your soul is like you, and it's not your body. So like sometimes you get assigned to a really shitty body just to learn and grow from it. Maybe your body is the reason that like you were like assigned this body because of what you've been through in the past, what you've had in the past. It's like, I think of the fact that like I am who I am, and I can't change myself. And I know that I'm connected to everyone, and that no one can change themselves. You have to have good intentions for those around you, because like when your intentions become corrupted, or you start focusing on the dark because like someone did you wrong, for instance, and now you're like, I'm going to go kill everyone and purify the human race. This is like going back to Hitler not making it into art school. And this, like, it hurt a lot of people, and it hurt millions and millions of people. And this wasn't the only genocide in history, but it's one of the most recent ones. Of course, we're still, practically speaking, we're in a genocide, and the whole point of like all these different pandemics we're going to be going through, like, it's not a secret. You'll understand why they're doing it, because they've said it themselves. They're trying to depopulate the earth, and the only way this like whole thing works out is if people connect with each other and talk to each other about this stuff. And like we all are like aware, and we want to become like better as a human race. We don't want just certain people running the world and saying what everyone can do and what they can't do. The whole point is like we all want like a level of freedom, and the reason people let their freedoms be compromised is because they want security. But where do you draw the line between security and freedom? I guess that's a good question for you all, because the idea that like separation is illusion and we are all connected makes you realize that like there really isn't any security. Like, do you have security for your own mind? Like, can someone infiltrate your mind? Like, what about there's weapons in this world that can control the way you feel? Like, if someone can alter your feelings with a sound vibration, then do you really have control over yourself? Like, where is your security at that point? That's what I'm trying to get to, y'all. Like, where are your security blankets when it comes to things that are bigger than the material world? When it comes to things that are, like, traveling through this, like, quote-unquote 5 gigahertz network or whatever 5G is. Like, the whole thing is just a big sham. Like, 4G worked perfectly fine. Not to say that, like, the internet's always going to be getting a little faster, but, like, there's more to it than just upgrading. And now we're at 10G in the homes with the Wi-Fi units. Like, wow, what does 10G even mean? Like, I honestly don't even care. The point is, like, the whole thing is just to, like, send out vibrations. Everything's connected. So they know that, like, the same way free energy would work, they can send out vibrations to affect people in whatever way they want to. Everything is connected. The quantum web, quantum entanglement, me, you, and every other person, we are all connected. It's a collective consciousness, and you have to open your mind. The key to opening your mind is, take this with a grain of salt, is through psychedelics. This is my experience. If you don't believe in it, well, that's not really my problem. Anyone who understands the power of them will say the same thing. Realistically speaking, they'll come to realize the power of consciousness and what having an open mind can do for someone. When I first took LSD, I realized how connected everything was. I realized that, like, I'm nothing in this universe. Like, I'm nothing but space dust. And I'm connected to all the other space dust. And when I was seeing it from my non-egotistical perspective, I realized that everything is moving constantly. We're all just waves of energy and particles that are shifting around ever so slightly. But because it's like so slight, your naked eye can't see it until you're at like that higher level of vision where like you can see the movement. And this is why they say when you're tripping, things are moving. It's because you're no longer blind to it. You are now seeing reality for what is actually going on. You're seeing the cosmos moving. You're seeing things move. The atoms are now moving like they would be had you not have taken the substance. And people are scared of this. They're scared of seeing reality. They're so scared of reality that when someone like me is talking to their face, they can't even look me in the eyes because they've seen what I've gone through. So that's what I'm trying to get towards everyone. Like the idea that like everything really is connected. And when you've been through a lot of tough situations and you look someone in the eyes and you've seen they've been in tough situations, you can empathize with each other. And it's really helpful to have people like this in your life. And I'm really grateful for the people I've gone through things with and I've seen have gone through things because they've taught me lessons I don't need to learn on my own. And I'm really grateful for that. With that being said, take the lessons you have to take yourself, and then the other ones, just, sometimes you're going to have to learn from other people. Sometimes you don't want to learn the lessons yourself. It's all this a balance. Everything's balance. Everything in the universe. The law of karma, where intentions are everything, and like what you do, it's all going to be balanced out. Like if you talk poorly about someone's going to end up talking poorly about you. And eventually they'll realize why they shouldn't. And it's just how it goes. Everyone learns at their own pace. Everyone is brought up their own way. And if you don't have someone to tell you right from wrong, you're going to either figure it out on your own or you're not going to figure it out. And even then, you still might be ignorant to it. With this being said, be careful what you speak into existence, because every time you cast a spell on something or someone, you get some of that spell back onto you from the universe because of this law of karma and the law of cause and effect, where like it's like almost like for every reaction there's an equal and opposite reaction, where like if you like speak bad on someone, and then they'll end up speaking bad on you, and that's just how it goes. So the idea is like, be careful who you're talking to, be careful who you talk about, be careful what you say and why you're saying it. Like it's all this like comes down to like mindfulness, and like the idea everything's connected, where like you say one thing and it comes back to haunt you like 20 years later in life. Like those things happen, and I like pray like all the people I've wronged like forgive me, and I know like probably 9 out of 10 of them will, and there's going to be some of them who don't, and they're going to want to get back at me for whatever reason, whatever they choose. But I don't carry that guilt and that shame, and I hope they don't carry it either, because like it's going to affect the longevity of your life, and you might die sooner than you think because you're carrying this weight on your shoulders. So just like remember that, like when you're carrying unnecessary weight, it's putting a bearing on your soul, and your soul gets tired, and it can only take so much, and then it literally like it will want to leave. And I firmly believe that everyone has a timer in them, and when your timer's done, no matter where you are in life, no matter how healthy you are or how sick you are, that's when your timer's done, and that's when your body dies. Like it's like this is just something I like have this intuition about, that everyone has a timer in them, an internal clock. And when this clock hits 0, your time is up on this planet. No one knows when their clock hits 0, but you can, I guess you can have an intuition about it. And I know I have an intuition about my own, but people will know when their time is coming to an end. And if you see someone or meet someone who seems to like understand this, you should cherish them, because they're special people. Special people can see things like this. And for real, everyone has spiritual gifts. The world is spiritual, psychic abilities. This is a whole point of like MK Ultra experiment by the CIA. They wanted to see how powerful people actually were, and this is when they were using LSD, which I believe is one of the number one tools to crack open the mind and to see the world for what it truly is, which is a place of ordered chaos. And let me repeat that. Ordered chaos is order, but it's so big and vast that it seems chaotic. That's the universe we live in. Everything is ordered, and it's so perfect and ordered that it seems like it's complete chaos because there's so much going on at once. And this is how people see my life. And to me, everything's in order, and I see exactly what should be done and when it should be done. And I just have to trust my gut and trust my instincts, and my intuition. And this is why you have to roll with it sometimes. Sometimes you just have to trust God. And that can be the hardest thing, especially when it comes to like money and finances and taking chances and like risking everything on one little thing. Like, you never know what's going to happen. You never know when you're going to hit it big. You never know when you're up next, and all you can do is prepare the entire time. You have to prepare for that right opportunity, and then you just have to go all in when it comes your way. Like, you can't miss it, because if you miss it, you might not get another one. That's about it. Like, you have to understand we're all connected. Collective consciousness, everything is one. LSD will crack you open your third eye and help you start to evolve your pineal gland. And when you start reaching this point, then I took psilocybin after doing LSD, and that's when I started to have a really great appreciation for life, and I understood that, like, life on sobriety is the best, where, like, I don't believe psychedelics are the same as all the other substances, especially LSD and psilocybin. And I see psilocybin to be the best of them all, where, like, it's so natural, yet it is the perfect tool for reflecting on your life and observing yourself in the past and how to make better decisions. And if you can learn how to make better decisions, you can evolve and grow into a better version of yourself. And people don't like to hear this, but when you are under the influence of a psychedelic, the truth will come out, especially under psilocybin. Like, you won't be able to refute, like, what is happening, and it will force you down a direction, and the direction is the light. It will force you into the light. It will force you towards the light. And that's basically it. Like, the light is everything. We're all light beings. We're all light souls. We're tied by light. Like, everything is light. And people choose to stay in the dark, and they don't even look for their own light. They'd rather just live in the dark and look for more darkness and dark energy. And you want to get away from darkness. Darkness will hurt you. It will subtract from your life, and you wanna focus on the light, and what you focus on is what you get. So for real, focus on good intentions, focus on helping other people, focus on the idea that you're one with everything, and when you're helping other people, you're also helping yourself. If you can get this concrete and down, you're gonna make yourself a much better person, and you're gonna make the world a better place for everyone, and we all are gonna live a more prosperous, fulfilling life and purposeful life, because having purpose is a lot better than anything. If you lack purpose in your life, it will be a very, very difficult life for you, no matter who you are or where you're from. Whether your purpose is to serve your country in some way, I'm serving my country right now, teaching all of you how to be one with everything, and instead of hurting, you are helping. And it's all about, like, medicine and technology and how to grow and how to evolve. Building, don't break down, build. You have to, sometimes you got to break it down to build, but, like, you got to be careful about the violence you're using, and that's why intentions are everything. Really be careful about your intentions, and that's where I want to end it. Your intentions are where you connect with everyone spiritually. So if your intentions are corrupt, And you know if your intentions are corrupt. Everyone listening, like, you gotta double down on that and figure out what you want out of your life, because it's gonna get harder and harder as we get closer to being a fully golden age race. Everything is coming to a close. The light is winning and the dark is falling out. It's all this being played out before your eyes. Just sit back and look at the movie. Look at the big picture, and you'll see what I mean. Well, with that, thank you for listening. My name is Nate Sarantino, and this was the Guided Spirits Podcast.